close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. You lost your best friend, shit's got you stressing. Wanna find a fool who didn't cock back your weapon. Don't wanna look to the church for confessions. If you kill them, you can end up in corrections. Some look for the needles and drugs for injection. When I lost Caesar, I was ready for the action. This shit hurts hard, and it really did. But you gotta let the pain go, and that's how you live. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Falling in love may be easy to some of y'all, but some people in this world have downfalls. Been in love so many times, their heart got lockjaw. Mention the word love, pause, then the tears start to crawl down their face fast like Niagara Falls. Feeling you had them messed up like prank calls. Why it gotta be so damn hard trying to find the right one? Set your standards high and get this like an M. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. Phone bill is due, rent and cars too. By the end of the month and you got no food. Mom at home first and dad can't go to work. That's only if you had a dad, imagine that hurt. 4 kids in one house, one mom and no spouse. Not enough room and family sleep on the couch. You don't know why and you looking for an answer. Just found out grandpa got cancer. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pains of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain in life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story.
Hello, hello, hello. Look, welcome back, everybody.
Sound great. You sound great. Hello, everybody.
Look, I have set up what they helped me to set up via a basically it's like a mixer check. So I was able to mixer check myself before we started today. So it was great. How is
Fancy.
everybody doing today? Oh yeah, look, we're gonna talk about that real quick. Welcome back everybody to Black Conscious Convo presents Loving in Color in Colorado. I am one half of this dynamic duo, Chris Lucas Diggins, my co-host, Queen, aka Talisa Hawkins. You beautiful wonder, how are you doing today?
Never better. Excuse me, y'all. You know I've already started smoking. And speaking of which, Chris, what are you smoking on today?
Look, today I am smoking on jealousy. Jealousy.
Ooh.
Yes, Snacksland's best from Kind Love, as you already know, your boy is a fan of not Kind Love, but Golden Meds. Excuse me. Your boy is a fan of shopping at Golden Meds only because the people there treat you like you want to be treated. If you don't know where they are, just go ahead, Google them, Bing them. They are out there, um, all through the Denver metro area. Yeah, check them out. Jealousy's testing out today at 28%.
That is pretty high. And
It
I'm pretty
is for
jealous.
an
Ha ha
indica.
ha. I'm
It
pretty
is for an
jealous.
indica. You, young lady, you're smoking already. What are you smoking on?
You know what, you guys? Today's smoke is a mystery smoke because my boo thing brought me some weed that he had, and I don't know what it was. So
She
when
said
someone
her
gives you
boo thing. Y'all
something,
heard her, right?
yes, he came by and with a garbage bag or two and was like, take whatever you want.
Are
So
you
I don't know what
serious?
I have. Yes,
You said he came by with a garbage bag?
or two.
Oh,
It
wow.
was just like, get what you want. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Look, look, cheers. Look,
Save me some money, baby.
we need to cheer that
Yes.
on. Throw a whistle in there.
I'm very grateful for him and all that he does.
Look. Yeah, no, I can't grow. I tried to grow, and let me tell you, growing is for those that know how to exude love, or just their body gives off. You know what I mean? Their aura just gives off love, and mine doesn't yet. So I can't grow anything.
It's a practice, and I'm honest. I had a little head start because I grew up in the garden. I grew up outside planting and growing stuff thanks to my grandmama. So I do have a little bit of a green thumb, but I have not been able to get weed to grow either, and that's just because weed is it's it's a weed, but it's temperamental. So it's a lot more into growing weed than just throwing some stuff in the dirt. Give me a flower, give me any type of other plant. I'm bringing the plant back to life as we speak. Somebody threw out this beautiful plant that I don't even know what it is. It was huge and it was in the trash, and I was like, how could they? I took it back home and I'm bringing it back to life. It's slowly turning green. So I can do that, but no matter how many plots of dirt I put it in and water and sunlight, they do not sprout. So clearly there's a little bit more to it. So don't feel bad.
Well, at least you tried to put it in ways that make sense to where what doesn't work for me. However, I'm just like, man, this is such a hard fucking thing to do. Like, I have killed so many weed plants because I'm a connoisseur, and I be trying to get my smoke on. Um,
And you got to remember, like, we're in Colorado. This is a desert state. Despite the fact that there's trees and stuff here, most of that stuff was planted and water is only
it's
here
it's
because,
only
we
desert
broke
when
it
you get
here.
to the south, and when you get to Pueblo, that's where the desertist comes in of Colorado. The western
But there's still,
slash
like, the dry air. There's no,
southern.
like, moisture in the air. There's no humidity here. The air is very dry, which is why y'all
Right,
are
there
prone
is
to
humidity.
forest
It's just
fires and
very
stuff.
low. Yeah, it's very low
So
humidity here.
you got to take that into consideration. Like, because of the environment, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to grow weed out here. It's not like Florida where, you could throw a seed outside on the ground and they'll probably start to sprout something because the air is just so thick with moisture and it's just so hot. But it's not always the case here. It can be very dry.
Well, I mean, people have been growing weed here since forever. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
with lots of help with fumigation and lights
I
and.
don't know the specifics because, like I said, I'm not a weed grower. So, you know what I mean?
Ooh, would you
I
like to
know,
interview
I
him
know.
and
I've
know
been
the
smoking dough since my cousin started selling it when he was in high school, and I that was like when I came back from. Are you all right over there? Sound like you about to die.
a little bit, you know how it is. But I'm gonna look up my friend. I have a friend named Aaron, and he grows and has his own strain, and I think he would be awesome for you to talk to. He's a pretty dope human being, and he is built a business on growing and then teaching other places and other people how to grow and build their own fumigation system. So he's always doing some crazy cool stuff online.
Yeah. See, no,
And
I'm
he
not
lives
trying to grow
about
though.
that far. No, but I think it'd be good conversation, right?
I
Just to talk to
mean,
somebody in that industry.
I mean, no, not right now. Like I said, my my connect with Golden Med allows me to speak to a whole lot of different growers myself. So I mean, it's not like if I had those questions, I couldn't get them answered. Like I know Kind Love's grower, I know uh um Golden Med's grower, then I know Wolf Packs. Um I mean, I know a couple of what you call it that just started over there on Colorado Boulevard, 970, right there, Stark or something like that. He used to work for Golden Meds. I know him. Now he owns his own grow. But I mean, growers are conversation for one on one first to see if they're, you know what I mean? Like everybody is not who I'm conversating with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't know.
It's
Anyways, I'm mad concerned because I actually don't know where he went.
you're looking for him
And
and you don't have him in your phone?
no, I have his phone number, but I was just
Oh.
gonna share his like IG so you can watch his because he records all of the things that he does and the systems and how he
Well, go
builds them
ahead,
out
shout
and
like you
all
already
that.
shouted him out. Go ahead. I
But
mean,
now that I'm looking for his IG, I can't find it, and that makes me concerned whenever you have somebody who's in that type of industry and they
and they
kind
just
of
disappear.
disappear. You start to
Look,
get
and you
concerned,
talked about
like,
him on the show.
I'm like,
Look,
I hope he didn't get in some type of trouble because he's big time. Like he's the real deal. I only really associate with
you so silly.
the real deal. But yeah, so I mean, I hope he said he was flying straight and narrow now, but I don't know if he done fell off the face. I mean, he recorded everything he did, like all of his houses, how the water systems were set up, how he was treating the dirt, the different types of composting that he was doing, the different fumigation systems he did. He like documented everything. So if you wanted to have like an in-depth dialysis of soil and how soil impacts the grow, like he's the guy for you.
Oh yeah, see.
So
Yeah, no,
um,
like I totally get anybody that does that. You know what I mean? More power to them. I'm learning how to respect those that that stay in their lane once they find it. You know what I mean? Like you have so many people that want to veer into so many different lanes, and it's not that, which I totally understand because it's not that they're trying to just get into people's lanes. They are trying to find themselves once they have that opportunity. Like when I was telling you, I now have this opportunity to find myself and to to learn to love me and do for me. That's that's something if you know what you're doing, but you have a lot of people that are just jumping into these lanes and saying that they're ingenious and this is about these lanes, and it's like, man, I'm just now learning about myself and these things. So how did you become a genius so quick? Like,
Shoot. Man, I'm just curious about everything.
I can dig it. And
Curious.
that's a woman though. Like,
I
you're
love to know. I love to understand. I seek to understand. I'd like to dive deep on conversations and on
you
topics.
sound kind of far away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Am
God
I
don't make
better?
nothing sorry. People just choose that one. Hello?
Can you hear me? Is it better?
There you go.
Okay.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry, y'all. I'm high, so I misplaced my phone for 5 seconds. And I was like, where is my phone? Where is my phone? And y'all know where it was? You know where it was? My back pocket.
Oh wow. We're not even gonna look. That's hey, it be like that sometimes. Once again, uh what is you watching though? Before we jump into our subject.
Yo, I just finished Squid Games. That's on Netflix. It is a Korean show, but it does have it in English dub for you who don't want to read subtitles. But it is brutal. It is bloody. It is mind provoking. It is mysterious.
I
It's good. I enjoyed it.
I seen that preview on Netflix. I want to start watching it, but I have like this plethora of stuff that I got to finish on Netflix. Not just Netflix, you go to HBO Max, and then from HBO Max you go to Apple TV, and then Apple TV you got, oh, it just goes every week. It just goes and goes. I just finished, which is crazy. I don't know why I watched it. Another movie on Netflix, Life After, uh hold on. That's what's so funny is that we right here and we know that we're gonna talk about some of these things, and I ain't got none of this stuff ready yet. So I don't even know why I watched it, but this chick dies on this movie, right? And she has to help her friends and her family to get into heaven, or to go, or to get her life back, or whatever, whatever. But
Okay.
I'm trying to. It's under the new movies. Just came out trending. Let's see if it's under trending, 'cause it may not be trending. Because it's a love movie, and I don't do love movies. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
uh,
might have not seen this one then. I don't do love movies either. So they hardly ever come up on my, recommendations or whatever.
well, anyways, yeah, this chick dies. She's rude to her friend, right? She's a party girl. She's rude to her friend, and she wakes up the next day after being rude to her friend, goes to the bathroom, and dies by hitting her head on the toilet.
Oh, I think I saw that trailer. I remember that.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I watched this, because she died with her. When I seen her hit her head on the toilet, it was hilarious. Okay, that's just my sense of humor. I thought it was funny. Um, however, the whole point of it, saying what I watched, is did you watch Vampire Diaries?
Yes, I did. I even watched all the spin-offs, the original and Legacy, which I
Oh my
enjoyed.
gosh, I'm waiting for the new season of Legacies to hit freaking Netflix. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Me too. I hope it keeps going because I enjoyed it. I don't understand why
Elena,
they would cancel it.
Elena Gilbert planted a seed in a lot of females, I believe.
You think so?
Oh yeah, because a lot of females, when you look at them now, think about the way that they carry themselves, especially when they can actually look like Elena Gilbert. Like when I was watching that movie, it was like, man, why is she trying to pull off Elena Gilbert? And I don't know if that's Elena Gilbert or if it's somebody else, but man, a lot of these chicks be trying to pull off Elena Gilbert, and whew, Elena was a bad. Elena was a bad. Her and what's her name? Her friend, the
Which
witch.
one? Oh, Bonnie.
Bonnie. Oh my God. Bonnie Bennett. Yes. I
Yes,
know her
I
star
do.
name. I was trying to call her real name, but Bonnie Bennett. Yes.
Who? I
Bonnie.
do not know her star name. I don't know any of their star names, which is sad because I knew Elena from before she was on the Vampire Diaries, back when she
Well,
was on Degrassi with Drake.
oh, Elena came from Degrassi?
She did. She was a teen mom on that show.
Oh, wow. No wonder why she's such a great actress.
Yep, she sure did. And then, so now to see when I saw her on Vampire Diaries, I was like, look at her. She done made it. She done did something with her
For
little
real.
Degrassi
Like,
time. Her and Drake, it's like, dang, you can't even believe they used to be on Degrassi.
right? I mean, like, she went a whole decade. She gave us a whole decade of vampire. Like,
Obsession and craze.
right. And then to add, she made us enjoy two brothers fighting over her for the first 4 or 5 seasons, maybe six.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
You
can't
know what's
believe.
crazy for me is that I never really liked Elena. She was my least favorite character, and I was so sad that we spent so much time on her because I wanted to know more about Bonnie and the Bennett witches,
Of
and I
course.
wish I got to know more about Damon and Stefan separately and more about them because I watched it for them too, for their drama, for them, for the guys.
And theirs was so great. Like, man, Stefan and Damon were two freaking just amazing freaking characters. Like, man, it's 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 funny how this runs into our conversation today about our relationships with other cultures.
Hmm.
How is it that we can pay so much attention and give kudos to these other cultures' creations the way that we do, and yet in real life they say fuck us as soon as they get the opportunity to say fuck us, whether it be physically, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. As we're experiencing right now with what's her name? Aquafina, I think is her name. If you guys haven't heard of her, like she's this Asian comedian and she's known for having like a real strong black accent, like talking like she's from New York and all this, acting real hood. And for years people let it slide because she was like, oh, I'm from Queens and this is how we talk. But in 2017, she did an interview where she said that she would never do an Asian accent because she doesn't want to make a a mockery of her own of her own country, of her own people. And so people's like, hold on now, like, so you won't act in an Asian accent because you feel like it disrespects your Asian community, but you have no problem going on with a black accent, like you don't feel like that's disrespectful in the least bit and you don't care.
They don't. They people really don't, unfortunately. our conversation is irrelevant to them. And in general, it's only because white has been put on such a level in our society that white is right. And you have a lot of those Uncle Tom, or not Uncle Toms, you have a lot of those house niggas and coons cheerleading and celebrating they masters and everything that they masters taught them. And it's really starting to get annoying. I remember sending you a picture about Tay Denver director school board member Tay Anderson. Let's get that
Yes.
name right. Um, what did that picture do for you, or how did it make you feel when you read it?
So when I saw it, it was first I was outraged because it was like really, like this is really extreme, and for what we saw, like there's really nothing here. And then it just was like, but this is just business. This is honestly white people being white people. This is white women being white women. As soon as the system, as soon as white supremacy needs a tool to weaponize against black men, white women always step up to fill that role in. You know, there's always a white woman available to falsely accuse or point the finger at black men and say, "Oh, you did this to me. Oh, you intimidated me. Oh, you made me feel scared," or some shit like that, which then white men use to justify when they come and try to strip black men of whatever title, life, finance, or whatever. We saw the same thing happen like a couple years back with Lamar Ball. Is that his name? Lamar Ball? The
The
father, he
ball
got all
boys,
those
yeah,
kids.
yeah,
And he was on that interview with that white woman. And when they got into an argument, she started talking about how she felt threatened and uncomfortable and all this other stuff. All of that is dog whistles that white women use to villainize black men and make it seem like black men are doing something wrong. That way,
right,
white men are justified in going after them.
right,
So, like,
because
all of this
they're
is insidious.
they're used to being able to be the power in all conversation. Once again, you've made the statement plenty of times. White men have put, or excuse me, not you. Someone else made the statement that white men have put white women as the top pillar of society, and
I
that's
might have
all
said that.
societies. Yeah, like I said, and it's that just one thing in general that every other culture just falls right in line with. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
to
And
have
this belief that black people are like the slave class. Like it's okay to take from slaves. It's okay for us to do the work and for them to swoop in and take all the praise and the credit and the money from it without any of the actual burden of the labor that is done into the creation or into the culture of things that we do and we create. A lot of the stuff we create, rap music, rap rock music, we created that music with our life on the line. Literally, some of us were murdered for the music that we created, just for to fast forward for people to take credit for it and get paid for it and be seen as pillars in a genre that we put our life on the line to create. And it just
true,
goes back to this view that we're the slave class, that it's okay for us to do the work and for somebody else to come in and take credit for it.
and that is what constantly will keep happening until we stop and go, you know what? I'm tired. We've asked, we've begged, we've pleaded, we've pleaded. It's time to stop all of that and to just say, you know what? I'm just start punching people in the face. That's just me. I'm not advocating violence. I am saying though there is a time for war and there is a time for peace. And right now it's like if y'all not gonna listen, how are we gonna make y'all listen?
Yeah, that is true. And the only thing that can make anybody listen is going to be people that look like them. Honestly, I think it's a conversation that white people got to have amongst themselves, and Asian people got to have amongst themselves, and Latin people got to have amongst themselves, because ultimately they're the ones who have, even in their own communities, set up these systems of oppression against people in their own communities. You see lighter skinned Asians discriminating against the darker skinned Asians. You see, the same in the Latin community. They don't want to acknowledge their Afro Latin people or their darker indigenous Latin people.
Hassan
So,
Minaj talks about that right after the George Floyd murder, and he, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a comedian. He jumped on his IG and made a video about how even in his culture they have a name for the darker skinned uh, Asian Indian. I can't remember the name that they. I can't remember the name he said, but it was incredible for him to actually step up in his culture and make that statement. It's rare that you hear that in the Hispanic culture. They say it all the time. You have those that don't know, and then you have those that do know their history. A lot of them don't know because they're not in Mexico, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them don't know about the niggas in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it, for them though. They're still Mexican. You know what I mean? If you live in Mexico and you're born and raised in Mexico, you're Mexican. That's what Mexico, right? It's Mexico. That's what they believe, and I totally get that. There is no like like there is the darker and the lighter, but there's no, you know what I mean? Oh, they're different because they're not Mexican. They're everybody's Mexican to them. So I respect that when it comes to that. But at the same time, there's a lot we can learn from the Hispanic community. Like, uh, they keep money in their community from for up to 30 days
mhm.
without it being circulated in back into white society. They can keep money circulating amongst themselves up to 30 days. Them and the Asian community. That's incredible. The Jewish community and everything not black community is somewhere in between 10 to 20 days in their cultures. Black people keep money in their culture not even 8 hours.
That is absolutely correct.
That number
And
is incredible, isn't it?
I mean, it makes sense. It just goes on to show you how far away from slavery we actually are. That we're still, as soon as we get any money, it goes right into the hand of the white man. It don't never stay in our own. It don't never stay in the hands of other black people. It goes right back to massa.
Do you think that because massa makes it affordable?
No, because massa makes it difficult for other businesses to thrive. Like, let's not even forget how Walmart ain't just kill out black owned businesses. It also killed out all small owned, locally owned businesses. Main Street effectively closed because Walmart opened. So when you can't compete, how can you compete with that? Like, how can you compete with these huge franchises that do everything they can to undermine you, chopping prices just because they can.
You know, like I said, I learning learning of self. There are things that I know I am not willing to compromise when it comes to services and businesses.
Mm.
If your quality and product of service is great, I'm going to deal with you. If you're going to overcharge me, then we got some issues because you're not seeing me as your ally. You're seeing me as somebody just to get money from. And that's the thing I think black businesses need to think about is each time a black person comes to your business, they need to be treated as your ally and not just a dollar sign.
I mean, I would argue that that's not just a black store problem. That's the system. I mean, Walmart doesn't look at people like they're allies. They look at you like you're a dollar sign. So does McDonald's. So
We
does
know
Burger
why
King.
Walmart does,
So
though.
all those other
We know
companies,
why Target does, though. We know why all of
because
those
they're
stores
greedy and
do.
soulless.
Correct. And that's why we need to
And
be
we know
better.
that the black person probably is doing that because they can't make rent. They still got other bills to pay. If anything, their bills are probably extra high because there's always a black tax. They try to say it's gone, but there's almost always a black tax. If you got, shitty credit, not perfect credit, you pay higher interest, or you got a higher rent payment, or your taxes are a little higher than everybody else's. So, we can't really say if it is overpricing or if it is that they really need that extra help.
It's not about that, it's about business, right? You're doing business with your culture, right? You want your culture to run around, let everybody else know to come back and fuck with you. Only way they're gonna do that is once again having having a reasonable price point, and that's just the simple fact of the matter. Because we can talk about black cities like Atlanta, where people are shopping at places with reasonable price points. And black businesses are thriving because they have reasonable price points. And that's one of the things that I've noticed here is that reasonable price points are way misconstrued when it comes to black businesses here in Colorado and other cities is different when you go to black cities. Like once again, Houston. There are soul food restaurants that have been there for over 10, 20 years. Only reason why they're there still is because their 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 customer service to their people is what makes it great. And that's one of the things that I can't say is something that you can always say you receive here when you go to a black owned business. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
am I am a supporter of those black owned businesses that actually do have those type of prices. Like I said, I go to Welton Street Cafe because I know what I'm going to get. You know what I mean? I go I share the beauty bar on our page because I know what they are bringing to the neighborhood.
Y'all check out Whittier Cafe if y'all don't know. That's another black owned coffee shop that's in Park Hill.
Look
One of
at
my
you.
favorite ones to go to.
That's what I'm talking
But for
about.
me,
You said
it's like it's
Whittier
this.
Cafe. Where's that one
Yeah,
at on?
I don't. Actually, no, but I know it's in Park Hill. I just know how to get there. I
Look,
always have to. I think it's on Whittier. I think
look,
it's
let's throw out some cross streets. That's what I was gonna say. Whittier and
probably like 12th or something like that. I'm not sure. I just know
oh,
it's in Park Hill. Um,
got you.
but
But
if
it's
you look it
black
up, it's
owned,
known.
right?
It's black owned. It's Ethiopian owned. In fact, it's Ethiopian cafe.
Got you.
It's pretty nice. Um, and they have great coffee and snacks and stuff, so it's really good. But I was just gonna say it's like that with I I want professional business around me at all times, like very professional because I grew up in the South, and I'm here to tell you that the same complaints you having about black businesses out here is the same damn complaints we have down there. They be out of stuff. Half the menu be out. People be rude as fuck. They don't never have all the equipments that you need. I remember this one time I pulled up through a Whataburger and the lady gonna tell me, oh no, it was
Now you
like
talking about
Popeyes or
where at?
something in
Where was
Florida,
this
and
at?
the lady
Now
in
see, yeah,
Florida,
that's. But
and the lady gonna
everybody
tell me
always
like,
says Atlanta is not like any other black city.
yeah, I'm so sorry.
You got it going on over there, don't you?
My niece is always trying to talk to me. She loves me. But I'm just saying it's the
Oh yeah.
same stuff. And if you talk to people who live in Atlanta, it's the same stuff. There's going to be some good black-owned restaurants, and there are going to be some bad black-owned restaurants. The same way it's going to be like that way every other business, every other restaurant.
Nobody's talking about
I want
perfection.
them to be better though, because I'm telling you, I done experienced
But
some pretty
nobody's
bad
saying they need to be
experiences.
perfect. That's the thing. I'm not looking for perfection. Once again, there's nobody perfect on this earth. So, I mean, if you find somebody that can walk on water, I will definitely I will say that there's somebody I need to learn from. But I don't expect not even business to be perfect. I do like Verizon Wireless. I know what I'm paying for.
Mm.
Quality in service and product. Now, if that's what you're asking for, I can understand that. Asking for quality in service and product, then yeah. That's what all businesses that are competing with the major chains, I think that's what they must do as well. If you want people to patronize your business, then you must be better. As I was talking with you earlier today in our conversation, I was discussing how can we make this show better, right? Bringing more opportunities to our listeners, helping our listeners. It's it's not easy, you know that. Coming up with these ideas to one bring viewership, two bring engagement in conversation and quality of conversation, staying on point in conversation, like man, and how we're going to step up our sides of it. You see how hard it is, right?
Mm.
And we're doing this on our own. You're an entrepreneur. You're doing this on your own. It's not easy. Yet these people figure it out and make it happen. And then they make it bigger. Even though quality and service may drop in certain places, they try to pick up the ball once again. That's why that undercover boss show came up. Somebody came up with an idea. I know how we can help some of these companies that I hate going to shopping at. Right?
That is that is funny how you say that about undercover bosses. That show is hilarious. Yeah,
Right?
but
And that's and
it
it's basically like you would honestly would it's I believe this is just me that there was a Karen that brought that to the execs and they was like, "Oh yeah, we can do that."
yeah, let's make it happen.
Right? I got a whole bunch of stores that I just can't stand shopping at. I think the owners should know what's going on in their companies.
Mm-mm.
You
That's
can't
funny.
say that that's not a Karen. And to follow it all the way through, she's like, "Yes, and make sure you talk about this subject right here." And you find
Make
out
sure
about,
they see this. That's like Hell's Kitchen, though. I love that show, but I'd be
excuse me,
so disgusted seeing how some of these stores be dirty. Some of these restaurants, I was like,
once again,
people are
it's,
nasty, just
and
cutting
that's
corners.
all it is. It's people. You know what I mean? We hire these people expecting people to have the training from home to go, let's be better. And only thing they have the training to do is work for the money.
Yeah, a lot of times it ain't even the training. It's the fact that, life and working for the grind and the hustle for the money
Oh,
distracts them from what
we
they
not gonna
supposed to
give
be
no
doing.
pass to we
And
not
they
gonna give
stop,
no
like,
pass to we not gonna give no pass to home training. Come on now. We
that's
done
not a
had this
pass. That's
conversation.
acknowledging that the way this system is designed, it keeps people traumatized dealing with their day to day life, just trying to get through. And they don't have a lot of times the strength to go above and beyond until they've dealt with the debt, and the debt and the stress be weighing you down and it distracts you. And that's one of the things that I loved watching Gordon Ramsay do, because he would just call it out like, you guys have let the bills and the stress of running the restaurant distract you from your love and care of the restaurant, and
Once
it's showing
again,
up.
and that's the problem. It's not even that it's distraction. It's we get lazy. Nobody wants to call it out. We get lazy.
I mean, because
The
lazy is a
work be
disempowering context. Like, what can you do about getting lazy? I mean, if you notice why you're being lazy, like, oh, you know what? It's this stress that I'm carrying from this. Well, now there's an action you can take. You can go and get therapy. You can go and start meditating. You can do things to
we can
alleviate that stress. But just saying, oh, you're lazy, that just says like you're some way of being that, like, there's nothing you could do about that. Like, get to the source of what's causing the laziness.
once
Laziness
again
isn't like a state of being, it's an action, a reaction to something.
correct. And that's the whole point. If we're not acknowledging that we have issues in the first place, everybody, once again, running around like everything's all
I'm
perfect.
good. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah,
fine. How are you today? I'm fine. How are you today? I'm fine.
yeah.
No, you're not fine. And it's okay to say that.
Once again, and folks don't get that. And that's the hard part about life. If folks want to live life like they say they want to live life, facing trauma is part of living life. And then acknowledging trauma so that you can, one, either forgive those who trespass on you or who you trespass upon. Because it's only one or two things. Somebody done pissed you off, or you done pissed somebody else off. You know what I mean? Somebody done came at you foul. Somebody done said something that you knew was disrespectful, and they knew was disrespectful.
That is true. Then you could do something about it, right?
Correct. And the thing I'm learning is that one, I'm not perfect. I am so far from perfect. I I question on a day-to-day basis why God blesses me with so much when there are other people out there with so much less than what I have. And I'm sleeping past sunrise, like, and they don't have that opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even have that luxury of just sleeping comfortably because they're outside.
Mm. And sometimes that's the hardest thing about being homeless or living outside, it's like not even that you can't find a job, but sometimes you can't even get a good enough night's sleep to show up at the job and do well, or a clean shower so that you can be, feeling good and confident at your job and not being, making people feel uncomfortable because you smell and they can smell it on you. So, a lot of times the most help you can give a person who's homeless is just a safe place to sleep so that they can be able to function cognitively in the morning.
I threw out a little suggestion on how to help homelessness. Um, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the idea, but hopefully, maybe somebody shares this along. But I think for any nonprofit that helps homelessness, right? Or should I say, one sector of nonprofit, if all the churches took in at least, if the small churches took in at least 3 families for 1 year and got them on their feet, and the big churches take on even more families for 1 year and got them on their feet, that would be the only way they keep their tax exemption.
That would definitely help because a lot of these churches have the capability of doing so, especially these mega churches.
Right?
So,
Think about if they lost their tax exemption and had to pay taxes on every dollar taken in from Tide at every service. You got mega churches having 3 services, as you just said, right?
shoot, I bet those
If you
churches will
got
start having memberships. Like, oh,
if
you
you
need to
got
pay this annual membership.
look, if you got 10,000 members and you have 3 services and the average member pays $5, that's a lot of money.
That sure is. And a lot of these mega churches don't even just show their congregation, they live stream to other countries around the world and to other cities and other states. So other people are calling in and donating.
So that was just my suggestion. If they want to keep their their standing, right, they don't pay no taxes, right? Their tax exempt status. If they want to keep that, they have to take care of a family and get them off the streets for 1 year. 90-day programs are okay, right? But if you're trying to get your life back together and you got 90 days to figure it out, you're stressed from right there.
Yeah, that's more like a ticking clock than it
You know what I
is.
mean? Like,
You're like, dang,
yeah,
how many days have passed? 1, 2, 3, 4.
for real.
How
And
many more do I have
it's a
left?
countdown. It's a death sentence countdown. You know what I mean? It's a bomb. It's a ticking time bomb that's losing its mind as the day gets closer to that date. But 1 year, once someone figures out, oh my God, I can breathe. Once they figure that part out, they can figure out the next steps with a little help, with a little coaching, as you like to say.
Yeah. With the little coaching, with the little support, it goes a long
Hey,
way. And real support. A lot of times, because I've been homeless before, and I've been homeless as an adult and as a child, so I've been through a lot of these homeless 90-day programs or 120 days or whatever. And a lot of times, staying in these programs is like
oh,
staying
I was on the
in.
street homeless. I was on the street homeless and called my mama for a ticket to come back to Denver because I was. Let me tell you. I'll tell you a story real quick. So a nigga was on 5 Points Underground train station up on the top. Nigga had just got done with school and just didn't want to leave. Honestly, like Atlanta was that fucking fun. Didn't want to leave. Pretty much found out a nigga was homeless and was on the streets, right? Just during the day, I'd go hang out with the homies, and then, you know what I mean, late at night, da 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 da. But in the end, what comes down to being one day, I'm at 5 points. I asked the motherfucker for some money, right? And nigga was like, no. I was like, the fuck? I got mad, and this dude was like, "Nigga, you can't get mad at that nigga. He go to work every day for his shit. What do you do?" I said, "What do you mean? What do I do?" I said, "We out here together, my nigga. Like, you know what I mean? We homeless. Letting them, you know what I mean? Speaking the best homeless game I got. Like, and this nigga's like, nigga, I choose to be out here. I don't want to pay no goddamn bills." He said, "I choose to be out here." He said, "For some of us, it is a choice." He
It's
said, "You
true.
need to think about it." And that was the thing that changed my whole life right there. Called my mom on the phone. "Mama, I'm coming home." Sent me a ticket. Sometimes you got to go back home to get yourself back together. That's that prodigal child. So don't bring that shit back home. Just get yourself together. Go on back out there. Try again. And that's what I did. Got myself together, got back out there, went into dialysis. That was my interest into healthcare right there. Got a job in dialysis and changed my whole world. 20 years.
Well, that is a beautiful story of how you came all the way full circle. And I encountered, people choosing to be homeless when I was living on the islands because, there's a lot of local Hawaiians who are now homeless because it's just too expensive for anybody to afford anything or to buy. And then if you got a family, I mean, if it's just you could find like a 800, $900,000 studio. But if you a husband, a wife, two kids, three
What you
kids,
say? How much?
for like anywhere from $800 to $1,000,
Uh,
more than that too, you can find
yeah, like
real nice studios, I'm sure. But out there
no,
you
I'm
can
just
still.
saying, like that's they know that's too much money for them out there. Like, what are they doing to them people out there? Like, I've heard this. Not to interrupt you. I do apologize, but it's sad what's going on in Hawaii.
It is very sad, and it's all intentional, trying to price them out so that they lose control of their land and they don't have a say over what happens to the islands, which is ultimately the goal of the United States and the corporations. But it's sad. So a lot of them, instead of leaving, they choose to just be homeless and they live homeless on the island, instead of, Bruno Mars. He's Hawaiian, and he talks about how he grew up homeless in Hawaii, him and his brother and his dad. And you see that all the time all over the islands. You'll see families, mothers, fathers, children sleeping outside, showering outside, showering the beach, fishing, because they are homeless.
So, do you think that there should be? a law against those moving to Hawaii from the states? Like,
Um, I believe so. But I don't think that's going to solve the problem because the problem is tourism, and like no one's willing to put a damper on tourism. But that's really what drives the prices up there. People coming there for vacation, and they have the abundance of money to spend for lavish vacation, which just makes everything hard. So if you go there on vacation, you're really confronted if you pay attention. Some people live a carefree mind life, but I
right?
can't
They live
because
off a black card, which doesn't,
yeah,
which
they just
they
don't
don't
have no
see a bill
concern
about.
or they're
They
not
just know
worried
that there's a
about
deposit
nothing.
made on that thing.
Right. And
How
so
much
for
did they
me,
spend? Oh, okay. Go ahead and put that back on there.
even still, like I can't live that type of oblivious life. So when you're there and you're on vacation, you notice that all the housekeepers, the maids, the people who are serving the food, the people who are cleaning up after you are local Hawaiians. So now the Hawaiian people are the service class on their own island for all these other cultures and races of people who come there and live this luxury vacation life. So um, if we could do something about the tourism, that might help. But
So tourism is just buying things up? Is that what that is? Is that, are they just buying people out of their homes and
pretty much, you got the tourism people who are coming out there buying their second homes or their vacation homes or whatever there, and they have whatever amount
there
of
you
money
go,
to spend.
vacation
On
home.
top of that, you have all of these companies building these luxury apartment buildings for people who want to rent while they're living there or to Airbnb. And Airbnb is another thing that's completely took over. There's no like places to rent because Airbnb, everybody's Airbnb on the whole island, which just drives the market value up. It's
Because
already
people is
limited
broke.
inventory.
People trying to make some money because they broke. Look,
Eh,
that's, or not even that they broke. Do you think Airbnb is able to be manipulated by individuals to where they can have like several Airbnbs, or do they allow more than do they allow one person to have more than one Airbnb?
Oh yeah, you can have as many Airbnbs as properties that you have, or you
Oh
could be just an
wow.
Airbnb manager and you can manage. Say you got like 15 people who want to do Airbnb, but they don't want to have to be bothered with any of the setup or any of that. You can be an Airbnb manager and just do list their Airbnb on the website for them and get paid for that. So there's lots of ways that you can make money on Airbnb. It's become a legit now to buy a unit or something down there and turn it into an Airbnb.
Wow. And that is another piece of information that people need to know when it comes to making money and dealing with other cultures when it comes to our relationships with other cultures. We consistently put one culture above all when it comes to our relationships, our businesses, relationships, should I say, our business relationships, our personal relationships. We put one ideology on top, and we need to learn to change that ideology in our heads. We need to understand that there are black people who can design clothes just as good as designers overseas.
We sure do. Man, this has been a, a very illuminating conversation, thinking about the ways that cultures intertwine, how cultures are feeling the same type of struggle and strife that we have, but they're so caught up in trying to be better than us that They don't even realize it because that's the, we talked about what the Asians are doing and the Indians are doing, but Hawaiians do the same thing. They discriminate against the darker version of themselves. My mom talked about how extremely racist they were to her when she was living on the island, and she got in fights every day after school with the local island girls, um, who would just say real racist stuff towards her and just be real, mean and hateful towards her. I think that things are a lot better nowadays from what I can see since I've been back, but it's still there, I'm sure, in some ways.
And it's because a lot of people don't know that we're people. You know what I mean? Like we're part of them. A lot of people don't because it was so there was a crusade to erase our footprint in the world. Just like the lynching of Tay Anderson,
Hmm.
there was a a race to eliminate all of what we as a culture have done on the in the world and around the world. And that's crazy within itself.
It is, especially when you look at a lot of these cultures, you look at their ancient pictures of themselves, or you look at the drawings of how they looked, or black and white photos of when white people first arrived there. A lot of them looked like us, was as dark as us, had nose shapes like us, hair texture like us. But throughout the year, because of mass raping and all of that other stuff, they've distanced themselves from us, which is only hurting them in the end.
If you were to Google a picture of King James, if you Google just historical pictures of King James, you'll see that King James was actually black. It's crazy how folks just eliminate just because what they find out, or should I say, to obtain and control power.
It's Alice in Wonderland up in here. They paint in the white roses red.
Look, are you close to your microphone, or is your
I am. My headphones died though, which is normally my signal that we've hit an hour mark.
got you? That's what I was gonna say. Do you have anything to say as we leave out?
What I would like to say is I want to remind everyone that we are all connected to each other. We are all one race. There are more similarities between us than there are differences. I mean, from not from really white European history, but if you look at ancient Japanese, Chinese, Indian, Mexican, Native, all of our ancestral tribal beliefs have a lot of commonalities between them. A lot of our stories are shared across cultures. And I want us to remember that we are the global majority, excuse me. We are the global majority. There are more people of color on this planet than there are white people. And we need to remember that because only when we unite can we really uplift ourselves out of this white supremacist grip that has a chokehold on the world.
That's the truth, and I I couldn't have said it even any better. That is the honest to God truth. Um, Me myself, as we leave out tonight, I want everyone to think about forgiveness. Throughout all cultures, wisdom has taught us through our wise elders that until we start forgiving, there's a lot of things that we won't start facing. And how do we get to forgiveness? By acknowledging the things that we believe that have hurt us and saying to those while they're here, let's get this stuff out the way. I know I screwed you over. I know I messed you up. I apologize. Let's move forward. And that's all I got for tonight. Anything else, young lady? How can they find you?
You guys know you can find me here every Sunday and Wednesday at 5. And you can find me on Instagram at The Mortgage Queen and at Talisa Hawkins on Facebook. How about you, Chris?
You can find your boy at Chris Lucas Diggins anywhere on Facebook or Instagram, and on Twitter. You can find our show and me here on it with you every Wednesday and Sunday, along with Saturdays coming up here soon as the show starts back up, our live show on Saturdays. And that's about it. You can check us out, BCCCO, on all the social media sites. Check us out, y'all. Conversation rules the nation. Action speaks louder than your words. Action speaks louder than words. Have a great evening, y'all.
Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream or drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. You lost your best friend, shit's got you stressing. Wanna find a fool who didn't cock back your weapon. Don't wanna look to the church for confessions. If you kill them, you can end up in corrections. Some look for the needles and drugs for injection. When I lost Caesar, I was ready for the action. This shit hurts hard, and it really did. But you gotta let the pain go, and that's how you live. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Falling in love may be easy to some of y'all, but some people in this world have downfalls. Been in love so many times, their heart got lockjaw. Mention the word love, pause, then the tears start to crawl down their face fast like Niagara Falls. Feeling you had them messed up like prank calls. Why it gotta be so damn hard trying to find the right one? Set your standards high and get this like an and. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. Phone bill is due, rent and cars too. By the end of the month and you got no food. Mom at home first and dad can't go to work. That's only if you had a dad. Imagine that hurt. 4 kids in one house, one mom and no spouse. Not enough room and family sleep on the couch. You don't know why and you looking for an answer. Just found out grandpa got cancer. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you think? is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pains of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain in life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story.